Hello everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about Ray Dalio's audiobook, Principles. In this review, I am going to talk about the direction, the narration, and the purpose of his book. I will also let you know what I think of Ray Dalio as a narrator, because he narrates his own book here. And as with all my videos, if I found anything in the book that I thought parents should be pre-warned about, such as language, off-color jokes, anything like that, I'll let you know about that as well. However, before I get started, if, like me, you love audiobooks, and you're looking for a good, reliable source to help you pick audiobooks that you will enjoy, that will address the questions you have, subscribe, turn on notifications, and down in the comments, leave me any books that you would like me to review for you and anything you'd like to know about the books. I'll listen to the audiobook. It has to be an audiobook because I spend all day in this truck. It's not too safe to read and drive at the same time. But audiobooks and driving works great. I'll post a review. You take it from there. Now, to the book Principles. I first learned about Ray Dalio from Tony Robbins. He had a book that he brought out about investing and managing money, and he talks a good bit about Ray Dalio in the book. So when this audiobook came out, I was excited to get it because I thought it was going to be a book on investing. This is not a book on investing. Ray Dalio makes that very clear in the beginning of the book. The book is broken into 3 sections. The first section is kind of an autobiography. The second section is his life principles. And the third section is his work principles. In the autobiography section, he lets you know, hey, I'm going to be coming out with another book that's going to be my investing principles. This is not my investing principles. Do not let that steer you away from this amazing book. I'm so glad I got this book. This is such an amazing book. In his biography section, he, for the most part, talks about his work, his time at Bridgewater, his failures, his successes. He doesn't bring his family into it too much. It's not that kind of an autobiography. It's an autobiography about his principles, how he created his principles, the beliefs that fall behind his principles. A lot of his belief system is based on a very strong belief he has in evolution. I personally don't buy the evolutionary theory. I believe in creation. I believe that we, in the universe we live in, were created by an intelligent, loving God, far wiser and more intelligent than we are. Doesn't matter. Doesn't invalidate anything that he put in the book, the fact that him and I have those 2 opposing beliefs. Whether you believe that gravity exists because God created the laws of gravity, or you believe that gravity exists because the universe evolved to have gravity, doesn't change the fact that if you jump out of an airplane, you best have a working parachute. Same thing here. He talks a lot in this section about his belief and his reliance on technology, which was very interesting to me. He really believes in using technology to automate your principles, even your life principles, which I'll get to when I talk about section 2. But all of the principles, if he could use technology to automate all of his principles in his life, he would do it. Because as he says, technology and automation takes human emotion out of it, takes human desire out of it, and those are the things that cause us to go against our principles. The principles are simply rules to live by. Second section of the book, his life principles, or as I like to think about them, individual principles. These are principles that you apply to yourself and hope that the people around you apply to themselves. I'm going to look at some notes that I took here. Principles such as being radically open, which doesn't mean being radically open to other people's input, so much as being radically open to the fact that you don't know what you don't know, and you could be wrong, and you could be making a mistake. Don't go through thinking, hey, I know everything. Everybody needs to listen to me. Know yourself. Now, a lot of these, the life principles, for me, were applicable to both work and my life at home, which is why I thought of them as individual principles. Make better decisions. He's got principles about goal settings. He's got some stuff that you can download. I'm definitely downloading his diagram on goal setting. It was the best system for creating goals for me that I've seen so far. And I plan on downloading it and implementing it. But I can use that both for goals in my home life, goals at work. Make better decisions. I can use that to make better decisions at home, to make better decisions at work. So the life, when it says the life principles, it encompasses your entire life because they apply to you personally. Each chapter is broken down into a main principle, such as be radically open. And then it will have sub-principles within that to help you to be radically open. And each of those sub-principles may have sub-principles within them. And he will break it down by 1, and then A, B, C, and then 2, and then A, B, C. It's a very easy to follow format. He uses that same format in section 2, which is his work principles, or as I think about them, his not his work, but more of group principles. These are principles to put in place for an institution, which is why it's work. You put them in place at your work. A lot of these are, and I'm going to go back to my notes here again, a lot of these are particular to work. He has principles about how to get the work culture right, how to get the people right, how to evolve your machine or your company. Some of them cross over into the home, some of them don't. Principles to deal with people that you're going to fire, about firing people, doesn't really work so much for the home life. I can't fire my kids, my sisters, my parents. My family is who my family is. And for me, being a truck driver, not being in a position to apply those at work, they weren't as interesting to me as the life principles. However, I did find myself, as I was going through them, comparing a lot of those to the culture of where I work. And going, yes, that's a part of my culture. Yeah, that's a part of my, I do feel like that's a part of, wow, that's not a part of my culture. That might be interesting to have that be a part of my culture. A lot of what he talks about in the book really made me want to go work for Bridgewater. I would love to work someplace where they put together baseball cards. I mean, if you listen to the book, you'll find out these are tools that he has now made available. And he tells you at the end of the book in an appendix where to go to get these tools. But they're tools that they used at Bridgewater to great effect to get their culture and their principles implemented. Baseball cards, dots, a few others that I can't think of. But the baseball cards is basically, he's a strong believer in all of these personality tests. So his people take it, and there's a whole slew of them that they use. But then they don't just trust the personality test. Other people have input. Yeah, I see that as a part of Danny. No, that's definitely not a part of it. That's a strength of Danny's. That's a weakness of Danny's. And they create these baseball cards, and they make your strengths, your weaknesses public within the company. And as he says, it was very uncomfortable for people to begin with. But once people got used to it, they loved it. And I would love that because, one, I'd learn more about myself. And I would love to learn more. I think I understand myself. But as the old saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. So my ideas of who I am and how I behave and all that could be completely off base. And without third-party input, I have no way of knowing that. If I worked in an environment like Bridgewater where they did that, I'd get that third-party input. On top of that, it allows them to go, hey, we don't want this person in this committee because it won't be a strength of theirs. No, this is the wrong person to put in this position. This is the right person to put in this, and this person should be put on this committee instead and put in this position. And it allows them to use their people's strengths to make the company itself stronger. Ray Dalio narrates the book himself, and he does a great job of narrating the book. Definitely love the fact that Ray Dalio narrates his own book here. There was absolutely no foul language that I remember, off-color jokes, nothing that parents would need to be worried about. I would have had no problem listening to this in front of my children. I think my children would have gotten a lot out of this book. I have a son right now who's going to college for a business degree, and I've recommended this book to him. I'm hoping that he's listening to this book, as he's going to college, because there's so much to learn from this book. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my channel, subscribe. Turn on notifications. Questions, comments, feedback, it's what the comment section is for. Leave them there. I will get back to you. But absolutely, most importantly, no matter what else you do today, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good book. And I highly recommend Principles by Ray Dalio.